Gigi, I've decided not to leave this town. Maybe I can stay and find some other nice people who will like me and accept me for who I am.
Trusting your spirit. Yes, yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Hey everybody, welcome to our L.O.V.E and Flow show tonight. So sorry for the delay. We would welcome our in-house guests. Hello guys. We have people in the audience, y'all.
Ooh, fancy.
So excited, right? And part of the reason for that, not that we wouldn't have had guests anyway, but it's because it's a special month. It is Women's History Month.
Yes. Wow. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And Governor lift off the ban for us to come in and be in person.
Yes,
That's
that's true.
This is true. So Women's History Month, for those of you that may not know, maybe the men out there don't like to acknowledge it as much, no shade, but we are celebrating women across the world in our lives personally that have had remarkable moments, historical and personally. And so today we've kind of invited our hidden figures to the show. These hidden figures are women who have played large roles in our lives, that have shined, that don't always get the shine or the respect deserved. And so we are going to give them that today.
Yes.
We're so
yes.
excited about it.
Absolutely.
Give them their flowers.
Yes, give them their flowers.
Yes.
Why they're here. Mhm.
Yes, so I'm so grateful for tonight's show. So we didn't introduce ourselves just in case somebody
Yeah.
has never watched the show before, never even seen the flyer, just happened to get a share from one of our beautiful guests this evening. Let's introduce ourselves. And my name is Kimberly Winborn. I'm the founder of Coffee and Collaborations Media. I'm super excited to be here tonight. My company is Kimberly Winborn LLC, and we do finance as well as communication. So obviously, Coffee and Collaborations Media is the communication side, and my program and book that I just authored is The Debt Detox.
Yes. Ooh,
Congratulations.
yes.
Thank you.
Well, I am Dion Selby. I hope y'all like our color scheme tonight.
Suffragette,
You know, I just had to like give us a
colors.
give us
we're
a shout out. We
suffragette
have our
colors, yeah.
coordination going on. But I'm Dion Selby, you guys. I am a certified life coach in the Raleigh and Garner area. I work with individuals and groups on financial literacy and personal development. I also have a newly published healing journal that I worked on with my bestie that we're going to be talking
Which I
to
love.
tonight. So you'll definitely be sure to check that out. It's on Amazon. It's a very powerful workbook to help people be intentional about their healing.
My name is Kenya Thompson. I am a former aspiring television reporter. Failed, but it's okay because that made greater ways for me to do the things that I love. And so part of that is being the owner of WordCrumbs, where we focus on video production, storytelling, public speaking, educating, training, all things really pertaining to marketing and communication as well. And so that's what I do. That's who I am.
Hi, I'm Kimberly McGee. We got two Kimberlys. I'm Kimberly McGee. I am the proud owner of the management firm, which we do management and media consulting. I'm also the dancing planner. Hashtag.
Everywhere.
So I also own Dance Fusion online, and I just, it's part of my passion is being creative through steps and art. So
Yay.
so glad to be here. I'm so
Yes,
glad. This
we're
is the first for
exciting.
us.
This is
know.
exciting.
Like to
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
did an in studio right at sometime around the beginning of COVID.
We've
Yeah.
had men
Right.
on the show, but to have
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
powerhouses.
Yeah.
Like
I
where we
feel
actually
have
have
that.
an audience. We did it
Well,
one time.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
one time. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
But
I
the
mean,
energy is
the
different.
energy.
Yes.
Oh yeah, we got some women up in here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
powerhouse
We got some
women.
heat.
And to that,
We got some heat.
there are some amazingly powerhouse women
Yes.
that are in here. And as Kenya said, we're highlighting our hidden figures. And one of the hidden figures that we often highlight, because she was our co-host, Sandra Pascal, Sandra Colombia
Yes.
Pascal,
Yes.
who is my dear friend, actually was one of the reasons why I started L.O.V.E and Flow TV. She was the first person, when I met her, I actually said, I want to have a TV show and I want her to be on it. And so I took a couple years and found these other ladies. And so she is our own personal hidden figure. And unfortunately, she passed on January 29th of this year. She was fighting very hard her second bout of breast cancer. And it was just her time to go home, but she was a powerhouse.
Yes, she was.
She
Yes.
left an impression on so many people.
Beautiful light.
Women, men,
Yeah.
children. She was a servant.
Yeah.
And we truly want to take some time this evening to
Yeah.
highlight our own personal hidden
Yeah.
figure. So after Kimberly gives us our monthly prayer, we will show a video tribute for Sandra Pascal.
Yeah, Love and Flow is her namesake.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah.
They'll
She-
get,
she's
they'll
the
get
one
all
that
of that
actually
in the
came.
video.
Yeah.
They'll get
So, so dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this opportunity to first come before you and thank you for your gifts that you have given us, that you've imparted in us. We thank you for these women. We thank you, Lord God, that we are coming together to support one another, not tear each other down. And Lord God, we just thank you for Sandra's family. We ask that you cover Brian and the children, and that her testimony of her life will shine through us.
Yes.
In Jesus' name, amen.
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 That was beautiful. So now will we play the video for Sandra?
to start and talk?
I believe so.
Okay. Okay. Maybe just say something. Okay.
So this is the name that I had come up with for a company that I was going to start 9 years ago, and it was called L.O.V.E, and it's the acronym for Ladies of Vision and Empowerment. I like that. I like that. Empowerment. I love it. I do too. I like it a lot.
Oh, that gave
So
me
that's
chills.
one of our first meetings.
Yeah, that gave me chills.
was
I
the
remember where I
first.
was at too. I was in carpool.
I was at a
I
funeral.
remember that first call.
I was coming out of my cousin's funeral.
Oh, it's so good you got all of that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I took snippets from that Zoom
Yeah,
call.
that was good.
I remember our Mother's Day. It's pixelated too. Yours is chocolate? Mine isn't chocolate.
Wow. Oh. Was that your song choice? Whew. Well, we hope y'all enjoyed that. Wow, that was beautiful, wasn't it?
It was beautiful. She was such a
Well, just to hear
Yeah.
her voice again.
spirit.
Yes,
her spirit.
yes.
Just to hear her voice again,
And
that's
those were just
tough.
some really, really cool moments to be able to like have those documented too. Yeah, yeah.
I just goes to show you never know.
Exactly.
What will be those priceless moments that
Mhm,
you remember.
mhm.
Makes me
And-
want to record every single
I know.
conversation.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't know
Which
if
are epic within themselves.
yes, they really are. We have some really, really great moments.
Yeah.
But I don't know if anybody has actually followed her on her page, or if you can still follow her post on her page. But she's just so inspiring.
She was,
She's
yeah.
so inspiring. So I don't know if you guys went and watched any of her like lives and things that she did, but
Yeah.
super inspired. But anyway, I just wanted to share that too. So, but welcome back. And again, you guys, we are so excited to highlight our very own hidden figures here with us tonight. So, actually, as a part of the 2022 Women's History theme of providing healing and promoting hope, to basically getting into talking about that, we actually want to talk a little bit about how women of all cultures have provided both healing and hope within our communities.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think culture, it's interesting how we can be from different cultures and different backgrounds, but when it comes to women loving and nurturing our friends and our families, it's very universal.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it is.
I think we love so hard and we're so protective, and I think we just maybe some of us do it softer and some of us in my family we do it loud. And my great aunt is here; she can confirm that. So I just think that, it's just amazing how, if you talk to someone who is from India or who is, indigenous, they all have the same passion about loving and healing and protection of their family.
I would
And I
say the
think-
same thing too. Like, well, I was just thinking about when you said they went loud, it's something very distinct about my family and the women in my family because they're all from New York. So they have that little bit of a more of the assertive, stronger, personalities to still show that healing and hope and as well.
I think about the advantage of that too, being a woman, because we can pour into each other in a different way than the men. Like I can come up to you and be like, girl, you are fly, you are fine, and just really make your day.
Right.
Whereas if a guy does it, it's sort of like,
What is he
Well,
want?
yeah,
What is he
or
want? Right.
perceived as being gay or
And
whatever.
We
yeah.
can love on each other in a different way, hugging. My sister's always tapping my butt, like
My sister, we do the same thing.
right, like it's
Yeah.
it's sort
All
of
my
like-
nieces will tap him like, give me that butt, girl.
yeah.
I used to have that kind of butt. Now it sags. Give me that butt, girl.
So yeah,
Well, it's funny because, as most of you guys probably know by now, I grew up Haitian,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so it was a very modest display of love. There wasn't no butt tapping in my family. We didn't have that. We didn't have that. But one of my fondest memories is of my grandmother. She was a very quiet, very strong, stern woman, but she would make sure she had a lot of children, a lot of grandchildren, of course, but she would make sure to spend every moment that she could uniquely with each grandchild.
I love that.
And my memory of her was we would crochet together, and then she would read my palm.
Very nice.
And I saw
Yeah.
this side of her that I feel like she didn't even show her children. It was
Oh, wow.
this sensitivity and this delicate
Yeah.
side that I will always cherish.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
And that's the thing with grandparents too. Like those of us who have children, it's kind of like, okay, how are you letting her get away with this
Oh,
or
yeah.
you get away with that?
It's-
You didn't let me get away with that.
At
And
all.
it is sort of like
Yeah.
a tenderness, a different sort of tenderness with
Yeah.
it. You got a story.
I do. Well, I mean, not one that I could share, but it was just made me think about. No. It just made me think about my mom, and just how she is with my daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A whole lot more lenient. So as we're talking about women and our bonding and all that stuff, we last month or the month before, remember we were talking about emotional health and how much does emotional health play a role in relationships.
Right.
And so one of the things that I can truly say is that for me, in my relationship with my mother, in my relationship with women, I think there's sort of like this dichotomy when it comes to emotional support and or not receiving that from friends. And so what do you guys think when it comes to your girlfriends and or just like new friends, new girlfriends? Are you open to like allowing new women into your lives like
Absolutely.
easily?
Wow,
Because
yeah.
you hear people say
Oh, yeah.
after
Nope.
35 you
Yeah.
don't make new friends.
No new friends.
Right. So what do y'all think about that?
Yeah.
I never used to be. I was very closed off. I had like the same circle of friends for the longest time. But then I realized what I was missing in my life was other women who would help me through things, right? And not to discount my current friends or my lifelong friends, but we meet people in our lives for a reason, right? I think we've all met for a reason. And it's funny because I've known you for years.
Yeah.
What, good 5, 6, 7
Yeah.
years now,
Yeah.
but we've never really had a closeness
Yeah.
per se.
Yeah.
But it's funny how
We close now.
we close down, right? But it's for a reason and purpose
Right.
and time.
Absolutely.
And so I realized in that the beauty of building these relationships, it doesn't mean everyone has to be your best friend. It doesn't mean that they're going to stay in your life forever, but everyone plays a role and a purpose for a time. And it can be a beautiful experience if you allow it to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, I have to
agree.
say, any of my friends try to leave, they know their lives is in jeopardy. I don't let go easy. I don't let go easy. They be like, I want to break up.
No,
we
we can't.
we cannot do that. We're not
Yeah,
doing it.
yeah, I have to
Do
agree.
y'all have a lot of territorial friends?
Oh my
Yes.
gosh, I was just
I
going to say that.
don't.
Yeah.
You're
I'm
territorial.
very
not.
I absolutely have
You
one.
do? I
Yes,
don't
my
have
best
any.
friend Jill. She is absolutely the territorial one. I'll have to make sure I go back and show her this part.
Yeah, I don't think I do. I have friends in pockets,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm the contradiction of that because I'm in my 50s and I love meeting new people.
Yeah.
And I will tell you this, for me, in my dance community, that's where I've really have built some really enriched relationships.
Yeah.
It's just been amazing.
Yeah.
The diversity of my pool
Yeah.
just through the dance community
Yeah.
on two types. So I've got the fitness and then I've got the salsa. So it's like, and then just trying to merge everybody together.
Yeah.
And at my birthday, I had pockets of my friends come together, and it was just
beautiful.
beautiful
Yeah.
to see everybody like get together
Yeah,
and
yeah.
meet
All
each
because
other.
they love you.
Well, and then I think and then some of them started their own relationships. I'm like,
See?
okay, well.
See, I don't like that. Though.
Yeah,
I
and then
love
y'all
it.
went on
I
these.
get
Y'all went on a trip or something all together just recently,
Yeah, we
right?
went to Jamaica,
Yeah,
yeah.
I bet that.
So
I think
nice.
that was like really big for you too, personally.
Oh
wasn't
yeah,
it?
that was huge.
So
Yeah.
for those who are watching, where are you watching from? And if you have a special friend or woman in your life that you would like to shout
Shout out.
please go ahead and
Whoop,
put
whoop.
that in the comments. That would be so great because it is Women's History Month. We're all talking about our friends and who we love, our grandmas and them and all of that. And so
And them.
and them, right? So is there someone that you want to shout out? They could be here still, or they could be gone. Whoever it is, that woman that really made a difference in your life and maybe still does every day. Let's go ahead and put those women in the comments and shout them out. Tag them. Tell them to join us for the conversation. All right, so next we're going to talk a little bit about one of the things that we were just talking about a moment ago with the emotional health. And I think Dion would be this would be a great time for you to bring two of
of our hidden figures.
on,
Yes.
And so we're going to talk
Okay.
about friendship just a little bit more
Okay.
because you have two of your
Yes,
friends who are
yes.
here. National Women's History Month is talking about promoting healing and health. And I believe you were going to say something about, I don't want to steal her thunder because I'm so excited.
Yeah.
And so let me hush and give Dion the baton.
Okay, yeah. So again, like we talked about, we're celebrating our sisters, our friends, the hidden figures that we know are doing the work in the community and that are not really fully getting all of the recognition that they deserve. So first, up tonight, we have my two friends. I actually consider them my sisters, more so my soul sisters. We are deeply, deeply connected spiritually. And we've known each other for quite some time, but I want to first bring up Miss Gabrielle Hicks.
Yay. Yeah. Come on, Gabrielle.
So come on up. So let me introduce Miss Gabrielle Hicks tonight to you guys. Well, first of all, we all call her Gabby, and also AKA Boo. But Miss Gabrielle Hicks is very, very special. So I just want to tell you guys a little bit about her. All right, so Gabby is a Raleigh native. She is a proud alumni of our alumni school, East Carolina University. She also serves as the senior marketing director of Chick-fil-A, and she's also a minister for the local area as well, right here in Raleigh. So we just want to recognize you tonight for all of your hard work, your ministry in the community. I know that you also have your Coffee in Christ, where you minister to people of our age, also of many other ages as well. So just a very powerful light, a very powerful source. I love you.
I like to hear about the Coffee in Christ.
Yes. So just very, very talented. She's also a photographer. So y'all have to make sure y'all check out her talented work with her photography, Gabrielle Photography, right?
Gabrielle's Gallery.
Gabrielle's Gallery. And her work is very clean and crisp, so very modern. And you can follow you. Can you just tell us real quick where we can follow you?
If you want to follow my photography page, it is @_Gabrielle's Gallery.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So so tonight, Miss Gabrielle Hicks, my sister.
Oh, this is for me.
So we want to honor you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Got flowers from everybody.
Sweet.
Thank you.
So if you just step on down, we want you to
right.
just sit. If y'all want to give her a round of applause, that'd be
Yeah.
great.
Thank you.
That we are recognizing and honoring you.
Yeah, well, let us say. I want to hear a little bit more about
Okay,
the,
well, go ahead.
the Coffee and
If you wanna
Christ.
share.
So-
Coffee
Yeah, I
and Price.
love that.
Okay. So first of
Yes.
all, I just want to thank you ladies for, celebrating us today and with what you all are doing. I've been following L.O.V.E and Flow for some time, because
Thank you.
one of my close friends, Dion, is a part of you guys. But I just love what y'all are doing. The women's empowerment. I mean, we just really need that, especially in this season and with us going through COVID, isolation. So I think women are really we're just trying to rebuild ourselves after that 2-year isolation period and hiatus from the norm. So I just want to thank y'all so much for that. And a little bit about Coffee in Christ. That actually, I started that ministry, God gave me that vision back in 2014.
Okay.
And just it's a safe place for young adults to come together and just share. And the way we do it is we have this really big coffee mug. And everybody writes down, it's anonymous, so you write down a question, a comment, whatever it is that you want to know about. And so we put it in the coffee mug and we draw from it. And we just sit around the table and we just talk.
I love it.
And we talk and talk and
Love
talk for
that.
hours. And we share scripture and we laugh, we cry, we hug. So it's just a really, really great environment for young adults who don't feel comfortable with just coming up to you and saying, hey, this is my issue.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
kind of like, well, we're just going to let you be anonymous. So that way you feel more open and comfortable to
Yeah.
share. And then you realize that you're much more alike than you are different.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And you're not the only one who's going through this situation. Either
Support.
I'm going through it as well or I've been through it.
Yeah.
So I can tell you how the Lord allowed me to overcome
Absolutely.
Right.
it. So
Yeah.
it's been a blessing so far.
That's
and it's been
amazing.
going on. So yeah. So
Love
God is
that.
good. So it's actually it used to be 18 when I was younger. So it was like 18 to 25, but now I've moved it up to from 25 to 40.
Okay.
Nice. Very nice.
Keep
Love
up.
that.
Thank you so much,
Amazing.
That,
ladies.
love
See?
that. That's amazing.
A bright light, bright light in the
Yes,
community.
in the community.
Bright light.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I
So
love
much
that.
for the
And Kimberly, I know you love that because the coffee and collaboration. That's just like,
That's what I thought about.
right?
I love
I
it.
thought about that.
That was like ding, 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 ding,
Yeah,
ding.
yeah,
Like,
that
that's
was
amazing.
good.
Yeah.
That was
and I
good.
don't know how many people know that coffee actually is a metaphor for relationships, building relationships.
Ah.
So everybody thinks I love coffee, which I do. Yes. But I actually drink a lot of tea too. But coffee is water. But coffee is really it's a it's a metaphor for relationships, building relationships. So if we just sit across the table from each other, focus on building relationships. So in the kingdom, that's something that we need to do because one member cannot function alone. We need the other members
Yeah.
in order to
Yeah.
move together
Yeah.
well. So I absolutely love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you, man.
Well, why don't you just slide right here and then we'll have the other.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, slide. Just come on over.
Come on up, Miss Kimberly
Yeah.
Lowry.
Lowry, let's give her
Kim Lowry.
Yes.
Yeah, I got you.
So I want to also introduce my other sister, my other, soul sister, best friend that I've known for quite some years now, and also doing extremely amazing things in the community. First, I would like to say that she's a really talented loctician. So,
Oh yeah. Loving it. Loving it.
so she does hair in the community, natural hair as well, and famously known Sister Locks also as well, and just newly
Say I was famous.
and also newly published author.
Yes.
Newly published author.
Thank you.
Newly published author.
Co-author.
So co-author with the Rebirth Journal we worked on together. We worked on this project together 2.5 years ago. And we were very intentional about doing the work of our own healing, after divorce. And we were going through divorce at the exact same time.
Yes.
So it was something that we decided to do together to inspire other people to be intentional about their healing as well. So that's Miss Kim Lowry.
Thank you. Thank you all for having me. I just feel so honored to be amongst all of you women and all you women in the audience too. Thanks for having me. Oh,
Well, I have a
thank
question
you.
because I've gotten the journal.
You got the journal.
And I
okay.
love it.
Oh,
And I'm not a journal, and I
good.
told Dion this. I hate journaling.
You know
I
what?
am not a Dear Diary kind of chick.
right.
And I think that's actually one of the first things that we noticed with people that had purchased the journal is that they were excited and happy to purchase the journal, but they hadn't really started in it yet.
Right.
That was one of the biggest things we noticed is that it's trying to get people out of that habit of not focusing on themselves, but then also doing the work.
Yeah.
Well, what I wanted to ask you both, because I have enjoyed the journal so much, and I am going to do my video. I'm getting down into it. Is one of the things that, as you and Dion was creating this journal, and Dion, you said it was intentional. Just thinking about when you had to color in? How do you see, your glass half full? You have to like color
Yeah,
it in.
yeah.
Like, so it's really intentionally like not just writing, but really like creatively interacting.
Interactive,
right.
And
yes.
I've not done a journal
Yeah.
before where there's interaction
Yeah.
throughout
Yeah.
the different
Yeah.
pages. And that's really creative. So
Yeah, and
thank
Thank you.
all
I
that
think
was. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that was the goal, because like you said, when you get any other journal, it's just blank pages, and you have to be inspired every single night or day or whenever you journal to do it. And we were like, you know what? Let's be really intentional about asking the questions that hit deep, like, and every single day we wanted to have a different question, just to have you focusing on, okay, I know I need the answers. Some people don't have accountability partners. Some people don't have, someone they can talk to. So we were like, let's be intentional about asking the questions that would hit deep, and then that they can find the answers within, So
Yeah, and that was also one of the interesting things that we heard from a customer or one of people in our group now was that she said she wasn't ready for the first question, remember?
right, the very first question.
the very first question.
The very first question
But
is
I
pretty
think it's one of those things when we're
Right.
talking about the theme of emotional healing even with what you're doing, the Coffee and Christ, and then just the journal is these are just journal. This is a journey through emotional development.
Right.
Right.
Of just
important.
redeveloping, refiguring some things out. And I think as women, we can't allow ourselves to be put in a box anymore.
Yes,
Right.
yes. Yeah.
And I wanted to add something to what you said, Kimberly. This is how good and how this is how good God works. So they actually met. I introduced them when I launched Coffee and Christ in 2014.
Wow.
It was a launch event.
Yeah.
And so I
Right.
introduced them, and it's just so funny how the Lord works things out, because
And brought us all
neither one of
together.
y'all knew
Right.
that y'all
That
would be going
Wow.
through a divorce
same
at the
time.
exact
Yeah.
same time,
Right.
years later.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that y'all were able to help each other heal through that season, and
Yeah.
now you have a book that's going to
Wow.
allow other women to heal in
To
their
heal.
season,
Right,
forward.
right.
whatever
Right.
it is. I
Yeah.
just thought that, I was like, God, I just love the way you do what you do.
Absolutely.
It's just
It
crazy
brought us
how
all
everything
Yes,
works
the great-
together,
yeah,
you know?
brought us all
Yeah.
together, the right place, the right time, and it was
Right.
all linked. It's all linked.
And I think we should point out that, you might be someone going through anything. You might be going through the loss of a parent, a child.
Yes,
it's not
that's a
just
good point. It's not just divorce. It's
You might be going
a-
through
any tough time.
any tough
Yeah,
time.
any tough
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's really like, if you think about it, it's 101 days, but it's 202 questions, different questions. And it's divided up into 4 chapters.
Yeah,
and
we have
so-
some really awesome activities in the
Yes.
journal. Every day has a affirmation, a prayer,
Yeah.
a meditation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
it was a good project.
It was a good
It
project.
was a good
And I think it's
project.
important to say
Yeah.
that we're actually doing the journal as well.
Oh, we are. We are. We have our moments where I'm like, okay, I had to go back to the
You have to
journal.
go
I've
for
told
yourself.
Dion that I'm waiting for part 2.
Part 2.
Because
Oh.
I mean, I'm not gonna look. You got me started now. What am I supposed to do? Be sitting there just looking at this? No, I'm ready for part
Let's
2.
give them a round of applause.
So thank you guys so much for coming
Thank
up.
you.
Yes, yes. So
We are so
healing and
excited to
hope.
have
Thank you so much,
Yes.
ladies.
Thank you
Healing
so
and
much.
hope.
having us.
Thank you.
Yes. And we get to hang out a little bit more. So that's pretty cool.
Thank you.
Thank you. Another round of applause
Yes.
for these beautiful ladies. Y'all good?
Well, I think that's one of the great thing about women in power is seeing women take on their own lives and make it what they want it to be.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's one of the things that we've been talking about, the emotional healing and development. But then, it goes back to women as a whole. We're really struggling with stereotypes and how, we have this, the world says, women can't get along, we can't work together, we backstab each other,
Yeah,
we scratch
but-
each other's eyes out. And these are just like the
Or
stereotypes.
We're
We're
trying to be men.
trying to be men. And it's just like, if you are a powerhouse woman, you can't be at the top of your game and then also bring other women with you.
Yeah, right.
You feel
Yeah.
intimidated. And I think we really need to change that narrative.
Yeah,
agree.
yeah,
I
absolutely,
agree.
absolutely.
And in all facets, right? Workplace, in our families, in the friendship circles. It's something that it happens. It happens, but it's not the truth.
Right,
Across the
right,
board.
right.
Yeah.
If anything, I think it's an opportunity to find out what it is that we see in like you, things that I saw in you that I would love
Right.
to see in myself,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
to be able to collaborate,
Yeah.
and to find opportunities to grow and
And be
better
open.
ourselves.
The good thing is that we have just so many really awesome examples of that. You know, we have the examples that, you know, within ourselves, within our community, to be able to continue to keep inspiring that, because what, you know, when you know better, you do better. You know what I mean? So that's really the main way for us to keep kind of
Yeah.
breaking some of those
Yeah.
stereotypes.
One of the things I hope some of our audience members could, what are some of the stereotypes if you've heard, and I've done some, you know, we've heard that Latino women are more hypersexual, or Asian women are more, you know, subdued. You know, black women are always angry. White women could be a Karen. You know, and I think we have to really start looking at women and really changing the narrative and saying, no, we're none of those things. You know, we can work together. We can raise our kids together. We can build empires together and really rely on each other and pull energy from one another.
Right, right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree, Kimberly. Like, one of the things that I think it's sort of a sad thing is when women, men, whoever, but since we're focusing on women for this show, when somebody judges somebody else without giving them the opportunity to show you who they are themselves.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
unfortunately,
Yeah.
so many great people are missing out on other great people
Yes.
because somebody told you their version of who that person is, and so you don't open the door
Yeah.
to
Right.
allow them to walk through, and that you could have missed out on. A
Yeah,
great
one
friend.
other thing I was going to say too is just the competition. You know, like competing against each other and not understanding that, you know, it's enough out here for everybody. It's enough. We can all win. We can all win together.
And I think the real root of all of what we're saying is that comes from trauma, right? A lot of emotional trauma, whether we weren't supported or nurtured as children growing up, or we were kind of shown. I know my aunt sometimes would go crazy and, you know, combat and be jealous and all those things. But I think a lot of it boils down to trauma resurfacing itself, and we're not able to really decipher, is it jealousy or is it something I need to work on with it?
Right,
Yeah.
which is when we go back to healing.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so much harder to look at yourself.
Yes.
You know, it's
Oh, for
easier
sure.
to look outward
Yeah.
than to look at yourself. And I think in the news, you know, we see a lot of baiting. So we talked about this before with like the rappers, Cardi B and what's the
Meg
other
the
one?
Stallion.
Meg Thee
And then the other
Stallion.
one, Nicki Minaj.
Nicki Minaj, yeah.
And another
Y'all
one.
can tell my limited.
another one.
But no, like that's just a great example of them trying to pit them
Yeah.
against each other, and it happens so often. And I think it's become sort of the nature of people to live out a reality TV life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And instead of
But the Real Housewives
Yeah.
don't help either.
Yeah.
Well, no, but they also
wow.
don't
and
realize
and
that
neither
all of
does
this-
social media.
But it's all sensationalized for the news, though,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
for TV. They're probably calling each other behind the scenes, laughing and
Getting the
looking
checks,
at,
honey,
looking
getting
at
the
how
checks.
much
Getting those
their
checks.
Yeah.
CDs are selling, right?
Yeah.
But we see it as truth,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
And I think we should be advocates of women. You know, right now in the news, we have Brittany Griner, and one of the things that you know, people are saying she hasn't gotten the support. And the question is she getting this, not getting the support for several reasons. One is because she is a
Well, let's share who she is
okay.
for those who don't know.
Yeah. So Brittany, she is a WNBA basketball player who was actually, I didn't realize she was actually playing for Russia. And she was coming back into the country and had some hemp oil, and then she was arrested. And there's a political, you know, tug of war here. But one of the things that is a conversation right now is why did we wait a whole month went by before we heard anything? And so there's that conversation. Is it because she is a woman of color, or is it because of her sexual orientation that plays a role in it too, which is illegal in Russia. You know, her wife stayed back. So it's just one of those things is that it seems like she doesn't get the airway or the support system that she really deserves.
Yeah.
Because of her
Yeah.
gender. You
Because
think?
it maybe because of her gender, because
Or
of her race.
sexuality.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's just one of those conversations that sometimes I feel like as women and as human beings, some things we just have to put it to the side. And there's a human dignity to one, and there is, I feel like when it comes to injustices, we have to stand up for someone to say this is wrong. It's not right.
Yeah. Wrong
You
is
know,
wrong.
wrong is wrong, and you have to have that voice. And she needs voices right now.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think for so long we've been scared to have voices because
Yeah.
there have been ramifications behind having those voices.
Yeah.
And so, but I think we're seeing now more and more.
I was going to say a lot of that changing
Right.
now. Yeah. And that calls for a big call against like more laws and more protection, you know, against rights and things like that to protect those kinds of issues that are happening with not getting media coverage and not getting exposure and not, and not getting that recognition, because it needs to, we need to bring a lot more attention to that.
Yeah.
Well, I think what's happening now is we're not afraid to advocate for ourselves. Before, we would just, kind of like the battered woman syndrome. We would just sit back and let it happen and know that it's wrong and not say anything. But again, we're not having space to allow it to continue to happen without saying something.
And then not having platforms, you
Right.
know, which is a good segue coming up for my two hidden figures. But one of the great things you talked about the laws and changing that canvas is Ketanji Brown
Yes.
Jackson.
Oh, yes.
And so
yes.
we are seeing
That's a
history
big
before.
powerhouse.
I mean, for me, like, this is amazing.
Yeah,
to
I
see
can't wait
this.
to see like what comes from this.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
not only from that, it's just representation matters.
Oh, yes.
So
Absolutely.
when you see that as a child of color, for me, it's different because of my skin tone. So I didn't see anybody that, I remember when Mariah Carey came out and found out she was biracial, I said, see, there are biracial people that look white. See, I'm not the only one.
Nobody believes
so,
you.
Somebody believe me.
Nobody believes
Somebody believe me. But I think it's just one of those things that to see her in her element. And one of the best pictures is, did y'all see
saw that
her daughter?
one. Yeah,
She's
we shared
standing
that
there,
in
and
the
her
group.
daughter
So
has
beautiful.
this
Yes.
look of proudness.
Yes.
And I
So
thought to
beautiful.
myself, that right there is a seed sown.
Yeah.
That moment
Yeah.
was a seed sown.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's such a good point, because I think a lot of people have still had the argument that there's still, so much racism, and it's, the way that they treated her, the tone and the
Oh, yeah.
discussions,
Oh, yeah.
in the hearing. And, it was completely disrespectful and rude.
Yeah.
But,
Extremely.
I think that with people saying that still exists and it's still an issue, those moments right there still show that we can still conquer anything, and
Absolutely.
to continue to
Absolutely.
not allow, those. I guess I'm trying to figure out how to say it. We wanted to allow those situations where we're being oppressed still to hinder us from
Yeah.
knowing that we can still do anything.
Oh yeah.
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 Absolutely.
And that's a great segue for my two hidden figures, because these two women have served their community in the judicial system in different ways. So I am so proud to bring up a dear friend of mine who actually I met through dance. And my relationship with Aaron Grable has just been one of those that I didn't see coming. But I'm glad it came. So I want Aaron to come up, please. Let's give her a round of applause. So I wanted to just bring her up. And she has really become not just a friend, but really like a sister to me. And I adore her, and I adore her girls. And so I didn't see her coming, y'all. But she came anyway. and we just have connected. And so I just wanted to give you just a little bit about Erin.
Let me
and
just say this real quick.
Okay.
I'm so humbled to be here today, and I'm just so grateful.
she has such an humble heart.
She's just so amazing. I'm so blessed to know Kimberly through dance.
Yeah.
And so a little bit about me that you might not know. I used to weigh 315 pounds.
Oh,
Her
wow.
story is amazing. Tell it, girl.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Tell
so
it, girl.
I'm 5 years out. I did have surgery to assist me, but it's only a tool. You have to work your tool.
Congratulations.
I work really hard, and to say that I would have been a dancer or someone who would have even thought about dancing, there's no way. No way. And Kimberly is so supportive, and she brings everybody in, and she's so talented at what she does, and she makes everybody feel good about their body and the
Our
way
other
it moves.
hidden figure.
And I stand here and say I'm a dancer, and
Yeah.
it's just amazing to
And
me.
I love getting in
So-
front of her, and I'll be like this in front
Yeah.
of her, and she'll be like,
Fun.
I love getting in her face. I'll be like, and we should.
I try to hide out in the back.
And I'm fine. I'm like, where you at?
Right,
Where you at?
right.
So
But
let
love.
me give
You
you.
can make her
let
feel
me give
it.
you a little bit about. Now you talk about a hidden figure. You talk about running for office. So a board certified family law specialist. She owns her own law firm. And in Raleigh, she's practiced law, but she also served as judge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Back in, what was it, 2012?
So when a judgeship becomes available, all the lawyers get together and they decide and vote on who they want to be their next judge. And I was so grateful to be
Wow.
the choice. And I was appointed by Governor Perdue
Yeah.
in 2012. And, speaking of I'm in a very male-dominated profession, right? Like I just am. And I feel very strongly about reaching down on the ladder and pulling up the next generation of lawyers. And I put that into practice every day. And so I was really humbled to have that support by my peers. I was appointed to the bench. I presided over child support, domestic violence, all the types of cases that district court, and that's really the court that has an impact on people's
That's right.
lives.
Every day.
And those are the courtrooms that I was in, and I loved everything about it. But unfortunately, judges still run political campaigns, and it was 2012 in a year when it was a very heavily dominated Republican year. And I was not one, and I lost. And so I went back into private practice, and I have focused exclusively on family law since that time. So what you two went through together and having a book coming out of that, I watched that process go on. I'm an attorney and a counselor at law, and I take that counselor part really seriously. But having a resource like that and getting to meet you guys today and learn more about that, that's amazing because
Thank
so
you.
many people need that
Yeah.
support because it's hard. And I will say to people, I know you will come out on the other side. You just have to trust me, but that's really hard.
Yeah. Trust the process.
And this is why I love her. Now, I found this out, and I'm going to hurt her, and I'm going to tell our whole community. I just found out this year, she was named into the Legal Elite by Business North Carolina.
Wow.
Which is an honor given less than 3% of
Wow.
state attorneys.
Wow.
She didn't tell none of us. So guess what?
Wow.
I'm telling everybody. I was like, I had to read that again. I was like, that's this year. When did this happen? I see this chick just about every week, twice a week.
Yeah.
She said nothing.
Wow.
But that's her humility. She's always supporting us and gathering everybody together, and she's just that person outside of the courtroom. But I love her passion for the community and what she does. So I am so glad to ask you to be my hidden figure, and would you date me and just be my friend? So thank you so much. So stay right here. Now this next guest is dear and near to my heart, and I'm gonna try not to cry. This is my grandmother's baby sister. So I want to bring up my hidden figure, as we love to call her, Mother Dixon, Betty Dixon. And I am just honored to have my great aunt to come up and be my hidden figure. Can y'all just help me just honor my great auntie? Don't look alike. Can't you tell the family resemblance? We just look cute together.
Oh.
Ebony and Ivory. Come on, have a seat, Auntie. You sit right beside Aaron.
I'm going to give you
Yeah. So one of the things I want to share about, before I go into talking about my great aunt, I'm just going to go by the hip, is because my great aunt is a powerhouse that goes way back to the 60s, pushing for civil rights. And I mean, when I say pushing, she actually went to jail. She served time in prison. Well, not prison, but jail. Was it prison? Jail. Well, she served as a secretary. Who said that? Who said that? They're like, I'm Betty was in prison. Who said that? Who said that? Okay, no, she was in jail, fighting for her civil rights. So the March on Washington, she stayed back in Danville, Virginia, and they, I've learned so much. I come from a political family, so I grew up always having, and I remember asking my dad, where did these black women come from? They are militant. They refuse to sit on the back of the bus. They gonna say, why are you doing that? Like, I used to be like, oh my God, what are they up to now? But they've always pushed for civil rights. They've always pushed for the rights of others. Mother Dixon actually started with her husband, my Uncle Jimmy, a church, Bible Way Temple. What was that, 1968 in Raleigh, on Home Street, and it's still there.
Wow.
And she still serves, and she still is co-founder of that church. So I just want to, some of her accomplishments is she served on the Danville Committee Improvement Council, Shaw University, North Carolina State Department of Human Services for the migrant workers. She has also helped with St. Augustine College. She also owned and operated her own beauty salon back in Virginia. So she's always been that progressive. I grew up in a progressive family where the women, I don't think y'all know the word no. You didn't know the word no, did you? I don't think no is not in your vocabulary, is it? So, yeah. And she has really accomplished so much, and I'm just so honored to have you as the hidden figure. And we have a running, can I tell them about the Waffle House? The Waffle House? Yes. Okay. So we have this thing it's a running joke in our family, but it's really, when you go to Waffle House and you look at the menu, the way the menu is laid out is because this one right here. They charge her for something that was not listed on the menu.
It was on the menu with a certain price, but when we got to the counter, they charged the extra for the hash browns.
And she called the corporation, say change it, and they did.
Wow.
So she's always been a mover and a shaker.
Yes.
You always been a mover.
Still moving and shaking.
And tell them how young you are.
I'm 84 years old.
Woo!
April 22nd.
Oh my God.
April 22nd.
And got on heels. And got on heels. And I got flats on.
Amazing.
And I know. And I got on heels.
Wow.
April 22nd, I'll be 84 years old.
Wow. What a blessing.
What a blessing.
What a blessing.
So glad to be here with you guys.
Woo.
Listening to you sounds so good. And I was thinking about you when you were talking about your relationships and your friends. I stand at a different point than you all do because I was the pastor's wife for so many years. And when you build relationships, and then people leave you, and they don't say goodbye, and you get so close to them and everything, and it makes you hurt a lot. And so I can know that you all have been going through something because your husband are so close to you, but God will take you through, baby.
Yes.
He'll take you through.
Amen.
She's definitely a fighter, and one of the things, like I said, I grew up in a political home, is really fighting for injustice. And one thing about my aunt, and even all the women in our family, but I think just if you can just tell us, one of the things that we finally called my great-grandmother Mama, and I was fortunate to know my great-grandmother and actually spent time with her. What was one thing that she imparted in you, Cornelius imparted into you?
Cornelius imparted into me to always be a lady and to stick by your man. stick by your man. And if my mother would walk in here today and a man you were sitting and a man would walk in, she would have you get up and the man would have to sit down. Yes.
That's different.
She loved everybody's man.
Yes, she did. And was looking for a husband up to the day she died. She was looking for a husband up to the day she died.
That's
so
different.
when I saw my mother pass away, I said, now you with your
It's
fourth
a
husband.
modern
Yeah, you with your
society
fourth
now.
husband. Yeah.
The Lord, yes.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the things that reputation, I will have to say that one of the things I think has been always important to us, and I've seen, is your reputation. Like your reputation precedes you. Like people say, Mother Dixon, if I say, of course they scratch their head and say, Mother Dixon is your aunt? Like, how's that figured out? By marriage? No, not by marriage. She's my blood auntie. Yeah. But I think reputation is one of the things I would like to really commend you on, is having that reputation of a woman that make a difference, that make a headway, and really make a change. And I'm proud to call you my auntie. So thank you.
That is so sweet.
So I really appreciate you being my hidden figure.
Thank you so much for having me.
So can we give them a round of applause and thank them so much for coming?
Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
This explains why we were out on the battlefield protesting and
Yes.
leading protests.
Exactly. You got it, Aaron. Thank you.
I
That
love
was
that.
beautiful.
That was so beautiful. My
Pastor's
cheeks hurt
wife.
from smiling, y'all. I'm trying to pull over. That's
Yeah.
not working.
Yeah, that feeling
Yeah.
of people
Yeah.
leaving you.
Yeah,
All of that.
yeah,
Get that.
yeah,
But
yeah.
then, but the
But that
thing
emo-
that really sparked my interest and my ears perked up or went up was the men. You standing up when the men come in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah.
It's different. Times have changed.
That's different. So okay.
Kimberly, would you say you were able to embody that?
I still do a lot of some of those where we consider traditional roles in a relationship. Like, it was not uncommon for us to serve, cook, and I think I learned a lot in the kitchen. Like that's where they hung out at. That's where they talked. That's where we learned, and I'm so grateful.
Kimberly, you're not answering the question.
Wait, I'm getting
No,
that.
no,
But
no.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We grateful
But I will say, I do still fix plates. Like I still do that. I still
okay with
cook
that.
and I still
Don't
serve
see
and I
anything
still
wrong
do
with
that. And that's embedded in me. And I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
enjoy that.
Yeah.
Kim
I'm
has
used
a
to. That's what Kim. Thank you.
She's not answering the question.
not answering.
She duck and dodge.
I think I do stand. Well, I don't stand up and move, but I do stand up if a man does come in the room. I'll stand up and I'll
Okay.
say, "Hey, how you doing?" Yeah, I still do that.
See, yeah.
No, I'm not giving him a seat. No. But see, my great grandma was trying to give her a seat because she was trying to get his attention. Yeah,
Yeah,
So
yeah.
is it-
That's what I was.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I
Yeah.
just said. I said the modern day woman would be probably different with
So
that.
is this a single woman that's trying to get
She's
a husband?
single. Yeah.
Or is this?
Yeah.
So she was doing that. She was standing up for her husband.
All of her life.
All her life.
Yeah.
It's just
Oh.
But she was married 4 times.
she was married
Okay.
4
But she was married 4th. Yeah,
Okay.
when she married 3 times. She
Okay.
was for the 4th one. Yeah.
So she was single at the time. So she
Yeah,
was,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So I wonder about that because we are taught that he should chase, that the man should chase, and so he should be opening the door. And so, but there is this conversation that's going around lately about the okay, so if you want to be treated like a queen, treat me like a king as well. And so to Mother's point, what do y'all think about that? Kim, you feel pretty strong in the audience too, so you need to come up here with us.
She needs a mic.
Okay, how do we feel about that?
How do we feel about that?
I feel like a lot of men, when they are pursuing a woman, I feel like you have to let them know you're interested. So maybe that's a way to let him know.
Yeah.
Because a lot of us can be kind of standoffish because we want to be courted. But they also it's a give and take.
Yeah, very much.
But Don't be too forward, I guess.
Right.
I mean,
Don't
everybody
be
has their
thirsty.
own-
You're
yeah.
gonna chase me.
Yeah,
I'm
don't be
sorry.
thirsty.
Right,
You're gonna chase
right.
me.
Yes,
I don't
yes.
feel like you have to chase me a lot, but there are some things I really won't do. I'm just not gonna
Yeah.
do. But I do agree with you. I think sometimes we are so embedded to make sure I don't give of myself. I don't let my guard down. That
Right.
you don't know that I am interested in you.
Exactly.
So I think
Well, I
that's
think that
one of the
I think
guard.
there's a lot of going on right now too, where women are now being the pursuers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not just showing interest, but actually asking a man out or jumping in DMs that we talked about. You know what I mean? And make
Sliding. I didn't hear
well, yeah,
about
that.
sliding in,
Sliding
in DMs.
slowly.
Yeah.
Oh, we got another Miss Dixon.
Oh,
Right.
women are
Yes.
asking
And
us
women.
for-
Mother
women
Dixon,
are
I'm not
asking
doing that.
and proposing.
No.
I'm not
Yeah,
doing
that's
that.
not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
I think we can bring, I can bring it up, but I'm not gonna ask. 'Cause
No.
I see women getting down.
Yeah.
I see women getting down on their knee and
I'm not doing
proposing. So for me, I think I can bring it up in conversation. I think I can say, boo, I want to marry you.
A little
that sort of
nudge.
thing.
Little
Right,
nudge.
right. I think I cannot be like where the person doesn't even know if I'm ready or whatever. But to get down and propose, I couldn't do
But
that.
what are you holding on to by not getting down to propose?
For me, it's tradition. For me,
So,
it's
but
tradition.
that's really
It's,
good,
it's what I
Kimberly.
feel
But
comfortable
That's
with.
good, Kimberly.
But then that
It's-
goes back to the question of how has tradition gotten us in trouble before, though, right? How has tradition really stilted us from growing in the past? How has tradition, like,
but how
kept
has it
us-
also kept us safe
I
too?
know,
So
but
it's
I
kind of
think if kind of to her point, if both of you are on the same, you shouldn't approach someone that you don't feel is on your same level,
Right.
And if you feel like this person is worth your time, worth your energy, then it doesn't matter who proposes.
for me it does.
Yeah.
That's,
John
I feel
Wood, my
like
daddy
that-
John
I'm
Woods would not approve. I can tell you that right
I
now.
feel like
That
it's
is not
like
what he taught
gender
me.
roles come into play.
Yeah.
I feel like
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Are y'all proposing, ladies?
You're not even looking at comments.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Kim.
Do you think that, you know, the equal
Gabby
modern
said the answer
day?
is no.
Gabby said what? No, no.
The answer is
Definitively,
no.
Gabby
I
is
mean, because
like,
I see
no.
both points. I actually see both
I
points because
do.
we do hold a lot to, and I am one of those ones that have an equal idea of, you know, levels. Like,
That's
I don't
a
like
lot
the
for a
hierarchy of
It's-
head of household
It's
and,
a lot.
and,
What's
you
a
know,
lot?
the tradition to
Like,
that.
I
So,
feel like we do put a lot on men.
yeah.
It's- we
To
do.
propose?
And
That's
the
not a
only
lot.
thing the only thing that I
No,
want to
that's not a
follow
lot.
the only thing that I want to follow up that with
Next
is
thing you know,
partnership.
that-
For
what-
me,
what do you want for dinner is
me,
gonna be
it's
too
an
hard.
equal partnership. So I think that's the difference.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes.
Come up-
Okay, so
I'll
we're gonna
go.
have
I'll
one
go.
of our later hitter figures to say something. Okay.
Okay. So my husband and I, after 3 months, he asked me to marry him when we started dating.
Oh wow.
And I said no because I didn't. It wasn't the right time. So we dated another 6 years, and then I finally said one day I said either you marry me or you got to go. And he said okay. And I didn't find out until years later that he said, "Well, I asked you one time. I was
Yeah.
going to ask you." Again.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
See, with that situation, that's what I was saying earlier. Like, I think that's cool. You didn't say, Ted, will you marry me? Like, I can't do that. But I
doesn't
can
have to
bring
be
it
like
up and
that.
say, huh?
It doesn't have to be like that.
That's a proposal to me. Maybe it's the word. Maybe it's the
Maybe.
word.
I don't know.
To me, a proposal is, I mean, I think if we look it up in the dictionary, we might see a picture of somebody.
I'm gonna look it up while y'all talk. I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up.
Proposal.
I'm gonna look it up.
Pic.
Miss Dixon got something.
Nowadays, ladies want to be liberated.
Right. And that's
Okay?
what I was saying.
They
Yeah.
want to be liberated, so why not?
Yeah.
But the point that I was trying to make about my mother is not that she was trying to get with these guys or
Yeah.
what have you. It was anybody's man. If you came in with your husband, she would
just respect.
She would let you stand back and the man come ahead of you because they always were taught that the man is the head and
Protector.
protector. And I tell you, I still like for the man to open up the door for me.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I do.
Okay, so why would you do that?
Yes,
So-
I do like for the man to open the door and those things. And I don't
So
think
some
that it's wrong.
traditions,
Okay.
yeah.
I don't think it's wrong for a woman to stand up for a man. I just posed the conversation.
Okay,
the
would you
question.
open the door for a man?
I would. Yeah.
Well, and I
I hold it for him.
So we found the definition.
Oh, I can't do
what's
that.
the definition?
We found the definition.
Okay.
Good.
I can't do that, Miss Betty. But I'll open the door for him.
The formal definition.
No, what's the picture?
It's the picture.
There's no picture.
Oh, okay.
There's no picture. Oh well. There's no picture.
The images.
You got to proposal images.
You'll
is what I
probably
was saying.
see some PowerPoint slides that you're gonna see. Well, okay. So the
See,
first picture,
what I
whatever.
say? What I say?
Anyway,
can we zoom in on?
a plan or suggestion, especially a formal or written one, put forward for consideration or discussion by others. Second definition is an offer of marriage. So I think we have taken the term proposal and created what it is today. I don't know that. I think proposal says clearly that it is an opportunity for discussion for intent of what it is that we want to do. In this case, is to get married.
But I think proposal also depends on culture.
It does.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
Africa,
that's what I
you're
was
going to
gonna
pay a
say.
dowry.
Yeah.
You're going to pay a dowry.
Right.
And even some of my African friends here, I asked them recently, we were talking about this. I said, now listen, one of her daughters was getting married and he had to pay a dowry. And I said, what are y'all going to take a cow? She said, no, what they do is the value of a cow back home in Kenya will be the value that he pays here. And he pays it in cash. And he pays it to the family.
So again, traditions and cultures.
And culture.
Because Indian culture,
right.
Arranged marriages,
Correct.
so.
Well, the bowing of the knee, y'all know I love history, really goes back to the Victorian and the Gilded Age, where that whole chivalry and bringing down, and it is a cost. Most of those marriages were arranged. They were arranged for various reasons, status, money. So marriage was
Let's
a
put
deal.
a pin there. Are we copying? Now this may be going into a completely different, but most of us are of African descent, right? Did we do that back in the motherland? I don't think we did. I think that was a European thing that we took on.
What's that?
Yeah,
What's
because
the bending of the knee.
The bending of the knee. Yeah,
Right.
because
No,
it's
I
a
don't
Victorian.
think so. Because what wasn't it? Well, no, that was jumping the
No,
broom. That's
that's
like
jumping the broom.
Well, for me, you
That's
don't,
like
you
after
don't
the
have to
wedding.
bend your knee, but I'm
Right.
not going to ask a man to marry me.
Right.
I don't care.
So
she-
It could be
okay.
laying
Right.
in the bed.
And I
it could
think
be on
I
the couch.
what I hear Mother Dixon
Hi,
saying
boo, will you
is
marry me?
if you're going to say you want to be liberated as a woman, then that comes with you also being liberated from or releasing yourself from some of the traditions. I think that's what I'm hearing you
I
say.
feel
Like
like
if you're gonna
the
go,
point
if you're
is
gonna
valid.
go, I am woman, I am proud.
Yeah.
Hear me
Yeah.
roar. Then there's
some things you gotta
some
let
things
go.
you're gonna have to let go if you're gonna do that.
Yeah, that's
because it's
true.
like we say as women we want this, and this, but then we also say, yeah, but I want this, and this as well.
Yeah.
And I think too, and I would love if any of our men are out there. There's got to be a double message.
I agree.
What,
It's
what does,
confusing.
if a woman proposes?
Well, no. I think if we're saying we want our independence, we want this, we want to be independent. I don't need you. I'm your partner, and then, but yet I'm your partner with these conditions. And so,
But do you think that most women are doing that?
I think we
I
send
think
a
so. I think
mixed message
another.
sometimes.
I think one of the
I don't
biggest
think
mixed
wanting to be
messages with that.
independent goes against being traditional. Personally, what were you gonna say?
Well, I was just going to give another example because, like, the example of paying the bills 50-50. So some men are okay with saying, okay, well, we can split the bills 50-50 because you want to be liberated. So you can contribute to the
instead of being
household
a
instead of it
provider,
being all on me.
Yeah. I think it's definitely one of those things as women, as we are creating our own new history and how we are designing our lives, is to make sure that it is just one of these weird paradoxes. Like I think where we're saying we want all of this freedom and we deserve to have our voices heard and all of that. But then there are some traditions that men, they themselves have been indoctrinated into, grown up with, and then we're like, not anymore, and they're like, okay, I don't know the rules anymore.
Well,
Do I hold the door? Do I not hold the door? Do I ask? Do I
think
not
to,
ask? I think sometimes
to
it
wrap
can be a
up
little
this
bit different.
conversation so we can do the next hidden figure.
Yes.
I think we all have to be open to listening and communication
And
Yes.
compatibility.
because everything that you want isn't going to happen all the
Right.
time. Just
Right.
like
Right.
everything that he wants, in my opinion, isn't going to happen all of the time.
Yeah.
And if you love this person and you want to grow with them, et cetera, then I think you talk it out and then you grow together.
Yeah,
So
I want to
for-
just add one more thing to that real quickly, because I think it's so important. Everything that you just said, the communication, being on the same page, the compatibility. Compatibility is so important to really make sure that you have the same core values. You know what I mean? Like the
Yeah.
things that mean something to you is the
Absolutely.
same with your partner, or else you're going to always have that.
Yeah.
Those differences.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's
absolutely.
all extremely important.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, y'all, we could talk about this all night.
Yes.
We could, but I think your person's waiting.
We could talk about this all night. So we might need to have a drip moment
Yes.
where we, like a series.
Well, this is such a great segment for your person because she's
Well, I have
always been a
3.
voice of,
Yeah, but the one that's
Yes.
here. So I'm gonna highlight the ones that are not first, so that
Yes.
we can really get some time with
Yes.
with my mama over there.
Yes.
So my mentor, I'm always in her inbox bothering her. But we're gonna highlight Rhonda Cozart first, who was gonna
Yes.
be here but couldn't make it in the end. Rhonda Cozart is local to Durham, and she does so much for the community. You all, I want you to go to Jules Outreach Ministry and follow it and support it. She is doing so much through her ministry. I try to support it as much as I can. They have this initiative where they need and want people who are willing to write letters to the elderly, just so they can have
That's
some
wonderful.
letters coming in
That's
and receive
fantastic.
communication.
Oh
Something
my
that many of
God.
us don't think about, but there are a lot of elderly who don't have anyone coming to visit them,
Love that.
etc.
Yes, I wanted to tell you something. It has to be for the elderly because I'm one of them.
Okay, can we hear? Are we able to hear her?
I can grab a mic.
Okay, let's give Mother Dixon a mic.
The program that I would like to see, because I'm an elderly lady, we need to, some way, they may have programs like this already, but someone to come in and cut my grass and I'd be able to pay them. Somebody to go to the grocery store for me and I pay them.
Wow.
For the fund that somebody gives me.
Absolutely.
Okay, now I carry baskets to the people today. I'm still delivering food baskets, and I'm also carrying health kits to the homes for the elderly. But the older people are forgotten.
Yeah.
So we are talking about hidden. They are really hidden.
Hidden, yeah, and jewels and
And so
gems.
whatever
Yeah.
you all do in the future, include the elderly.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Thank
that.
You for,
Yes,
thank you for
thank you for
saying
that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's something. So we have foundations and nonprofits
Yes.
running
I
through
was just
here,
gonna
and
say,
then
so,
in
we
our
about to
own
go home and journal
for-profit
on this
work.
right
But if
now.
Rhonda is watching too, I'm sure that's something that she'll
Yeah.
implement because she has a big heart for serving the elderly. But she has assisted other ministries by helping build their foundations. She started Jules, which was birthed in 2016. But she's also the author of The Fishers of Men, back to a devotional journal, and also The Good News. So the author of The Fishers of Men, 30-day devotional, and The Good News, 2 books.
Yeah.
She's an advocate for the voiceless, like we
I
just
love
said,
that.
as a humanitarian. So I want you all to check out Rhonda Cozart, go to Jules, and so she is one of my hidden figures because she does so much behind the scenes, not just for herself, but for others. I mean, not just for her business is what I meant, her
Right.
nonprofit, but for other nonprofits, for other communities, as busy as she is. And I wish she could have been here so you could see her beautiful face. When I met her, I was like, she reminds me of someone. And for a long time, we immediately connected. And I met her actually the same time I met the owner of Glitz and Gloss. Shout out to Glitz and Gloss. That is our sponsor for
Yes.
the evening.
Thank
This is
you.
where we are. And so I met them the same time, and we all immediately connected. And it was 2020. And Rhonda was just, her face reminded me of somebody, and it finally hit me one day when I was at my grandma's house, and I saw a picture of my grandmother, my grandfather's mother, on the wall. Grandma Annie Mae. That's who she reminds me of. Her cheekbones, her complexion, and her smile. And so, Rhonda Cozart, you
Yes.
are one of our hidden figures, and I hate that you couldn't
Yes,
be here, but we
absolutely.
have flowers for you. If you're in the area, please come on by, and because we're gonna party or turn up just a little
Yeah.
bit. Our version of turning up is
Yeah.
like eating a strawberry. But anyway, past 9 o'clock.
And going to sleep.
Right. So the next one is Sue Ann Dimmerly. And I'm going to wrap up really quickly. Sue Ann couldn't be here either. She tried, but she couldn't adjust her schedule. But Sue Ann is someone I met maybe back in 2016, 2015. And ever since then, she sends me cards just because, like digital cards, Christmas, New Year's, Valentine's Day. And once again, as I said, just because, and not because she wants anything. We connected in business, and we just had an affinity. She just loved me, and I loved her. And so she is a wellness advocate, former model. She's with Melaleuca and been with that business for a while. She's had only 3 careers in her life, and she's about 84 years old, still working, still doing amazing things. Yeah, so Sue Ann Dimmerly, I wish you could be here. You know I love you, and I can't wait for us to get together and reconvene.
Yes.
And then lastly, and we'll be sharing their bios through social media, so you can get the full bios for everyone. And then lastly, let's move on.
Move it over.
Who's here?
She'll sit next to her. Oh. Yeah.
Yes, you can sit next to me. That's so awesome. We have Peggy Tatum. Round of applause. The president and CEO of the Connection Place, which is a small business resource center, and publisher of TCP Magazine.
Yes.
Peggy's passion is helping people accomplish their visions and dreams by connecting them with the right resources and encouraging them to reach their God-given potential. She is the ultimate connector and the ultimate resource. And if you call Miss Peggy and tell her you need anything, she will send you whatever you need in a short window of time. And if she can't, she will find someone who can. She's a woman of her word. She's very unique, and she knows it. She's like, I have my way. It might not be yours, because I ask her all the time to help me with stuff. She'll be like, that might not be your way, but you're doing a great job. She's an encourager, a cheerleader. And I just love her. I call her my mentor. We never had a meeting or anything. Like, she just, to me, somebody who I look up to and adore. And Kimberly actually agreed that she should be a hidden figure as well, because she was like, Miss Peggy Tatum, blah, blah, blah. I said, no, that's my hidden figure.
You can't have her.
All right, that's my hidden figure. Yes, and so we are excited to have her. Miss Peggy she does so much. Like, oh my gosh, bringing first ladies together, bringing pastors and ministers together.
Wow.
Now doing the gut patrol, which I think is powerful. Many people don't understand how much the gut is making a difference in their health and or not, and it's sort of like a silent killer. So now she's starting workshops for that. I don't even know if that's in here, but I had to shout that out. But she does so many great events and serves as a community partner with Artsplosure, which I have loved since I was a kid. First Night Raleigh, Southern Women's Show, African American Cultural Festival, and Raleigh Police Department on the local level. So she's amazing. We're going to share her full bio. Round of applause, please, to Peggy Tatum. Yes! So we have so much to talk about in the audience, I'm sure. You know what I love about you, too, is that you are a wife and mother first.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
God, of course, but then wife and mother first. Can you talk to us about how significant that has been to your career?
Yes. My husband is very quiet. The first time he went with me someplace, it was a gospel concert. Backstage, he was noticing how I was interacting with the folks, and they were mostly men. And so he stood to the side, and he was watching. And he was like, I don't know if I trust them or not. He says, maybe I need to stay home. So he decided to let me do whatever I wanted to do with the Connection Place in the magazine, and he would support me. Now, he watches me. Anything I need, he'll get it for me. It doesn't matter if you need a new computer, or he just analyzes things. But he's just a wonderful person. He does all the cooking at home. Ooh. He loves his family. He loves me. He loves me, but he never says, I love you. He doesn't call me by my name.
Wow.
And I asked him, why don't you call me by my name? He says, you know your name. And I always call him in the house, Ted. I'm always calling his name. But he never calls me. He walks up to me and speaks to me. And that way he doesn't need to call my name. because we have that conversation going. But he's just a wonderful person, wonderful person. I consider myself rich, not in dollars, but I consider myself rich because I have a man that loves me. He's never hit me. We don't argue, and he's my best friend.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yes, that's beautiful.
That's my love story.
I want to, one of the things we've talked about on this show many times, and as we just talked about gender roles and having your husband cook and those types of things. How important is it? Because, Kimberly and I talked about this when we were talking about Hidden Figures. And when we was like going through the list, and I was like, Peggy, I don't know if you said it first. And I was like, Peggy Tatum. She's like, wait a minute, that's mine first. And I was like, we have to do Peggy because I go way, way back. And you are such an inspiration. And I really feel you could do that single. But the fact that you've been as successful and that reputation that you have with your spouse, with you, that importance, that relationship, how have you all been able to maintain that?
Well, it has to do with trust, for one thing. Trust, and there was a time before when my husband was in a position where he needed me, and I supported him and never let him feel like he was lesser than a man. I always elevate him up high. Whenever I go on stage, he's beside me. He may never say a word, but he's there. I've had the opportunity to be on stage in front of about 10,000 people.
Wow.
And if you look at the picture, you'll see him. He's standing beside me like my bodyguard or something like that. But as you all have been saying recently, he understands the assignment.
Yes.
And
Come
what
on
he's
now.
supposed to do.
That's great.
He's a musician, and he's very good at that. He can't sing, but he can play his butt off. And that's one of the things we have in common. So if you come to my house, want to come see me, you can come upstairs and we can sing and have
Love
some
that.
music. Folks like to come over to our house because it's just so comfortable. You can put your feet up on the chair and you just be at home. Be a part of the family.
Love that.
I love that. I love that, especially like the partnership you said about, helping each other. When he was down, you helped him. When you're up, he helps you. So I love that. I have an interesting story to share with you. When you guys said Peggy Tatum as your hidden figure, I didn't say anything because I don't believe that I've ever actually met you personally, but I'm on your email list and I get all of your emails all the time. That I think that I've actually crossed paths with you maybe like 10 years ago maybe, and I've just always constantly gotten your emails all these years. And when you said Peggy Tatum, it was like, that's who Peggy Tatum is.
Right.
And I always get your emails for publishing.
Yeah.
So that's really awesome. I just wanted to ask you with what everybody's saying about you pretty much being the GOAT and, just of your time and being so, seasoned in your career. What have you seen as some of the changes, like with, where you started versus where things are now?
Okay. First of all, we sat side by side at Tim Johnson's event.
Okay.
When I got the Living Legend.
Was that like 10 years ago?
Tim
Johnson's
5, 7. You were there too.
7 years ago.
I've got pictures of you.
Okay. That's where it was.
I got pictures of us
Wow.
together, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a new day. When I first started, and Kimberly, when you started your magazine too, the Triangle area was like totally different. Everybody wanted to be the best. There were no collaborations. The name of my company is The Connection Place, and I pride myself on connecting people with who they need. I don't try to go after any money. I can put you and you together and say, go, make it happen. I want to hear back from you. If you don't, I'm getting on your case. But now you come up with a new term called collaborations, which is much, much better than connections because it puts everybody together and it makes them accountable for doing things together. And I just love it. And that's why I follow you. I'm like, look at them young folks. Look at them. But it's a new day.
Okay.
People are working more together.
Yeah.
Rather than trying
That's
to be everybody
beautiful.
trying to be number one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And connections are so important.
Yes,
Like, we don't
yes.
realize.
And you just
Yeah.
never know. You never know who's in the room. You never know who's watching.
And all these budding entrepreneurs, like we cannot do it alone.
Yeah.
In anything.
Yeah.
Mother Dixon. She said she wanted to get talked about some more. I love it.
This is what I wanted to. I'm talking about husband and wife. I worked a little bit, not much. I haven't worked since I was 46 years old. But the thing is when I was working, I gave my husband my check. And my friends, now I told you about the church, the people that talked to me, I was trying to counsel with them to tell them how to get ahead, right? And when I brought up the part about giving your husband your check, but what happened, he took the money and he would do everything and then split what was left. And a lot of times nothing was left, okay? So one lady said to me, I would never work 40 hours a week and give my husband my check. Okay, but my husband and I had a plan. You heard the saying, plan your work and work your plan? They didn't know what we were doing. That's the reason why things between a marriage has to be between the two. Okay, but we knew what we were doing.
Say that.
But to make a long story short, later on in life, my husband paid cash for me, Cadillac, and paid cash for him, Jaguar.
Wow.
The same people wanted to know how did it happen. So that's what I wanted to say to you all.
Yes.
Liberated ladies.
Traditional.
Plan your work. Work your plan.
Well, I think it goes back to.
Okay, now.
I love it. I love it.
I like
That was good. That was good.
Let me tell y'all. Okay.
As a matter of fact,
let
we
me
need to
clear
rehab. We
something
need to
up.
hashtag
I
that.
am very traditional.
She
That's
is
why I'm
very
not
traditional.
proposing to anybody. However, from a financial perspective, I wish more couples would come together and come up with a plan like that and have that long-term vision, because they can do exactly what you
Yeah.
just said. It may not be a Jaguar or a Cadillac. It could be a vacation where they
Right.
tour Italy,
Property,
or, go around the
investments.
world. Go.
Yeah.
Whatever their dream
Yeah.
is, but most people don't have
Well,
that.
Right,
So
you have to work
they all in
together.
your business.
Yeah.
Well, I think that
52 years
I
of
think
marriage.
that that's what when we talk about stereotypes, we clench our pearls. Like even when she was saying, and I'm her knees, I'm like, ooh, give him my check. Ooh.
Pass me. Let's
He
give
need
Miss.
my whole check.
Oh, yes.
Like that's tight. But I think something that you said, Peggy, that is so poignant is trust. That you trust your husband. That you trust Uncle Jam. You trust
Yes.
each other.
And they're
Yes.
and he's her best friend.
And best
Yeah.
friend. And I
Yeah.
love that. And I think that that's
Yes.
where the value of the relationship comes in.
Oh, we got some questions.
Yeah.
Here. I just wanted to say that us liberated women, I'm all for it, but you have to be good with money. Like you have to show me. I guess that comes with trust. You have
Yeah.
to show me that you can handle it. Because if I'm better at it, then let the check come to me.
Right. Exactly. And that's the thing.
That's all I wanted to
So
say.
many people don't give their spouse the opportunity to show them after they mess up one time, like to actually go to counseling, figure out how you can, work together, and maybe
Right.
for a while it needs to be separate accounts until you guys realize that okay,
Yeah.
we got it. Let's bring an account together just for this purpose right now, and then let's grow. But saving, retirement, and all of that stuff,
Yeah.
some of that stuff can be in
Yeah.
in programs where nobody can touch it.
Yeah.
And so it's just a matter of getting the at the time, it'll
Right.
be difficult. You have to get approval from each other. So it's just a matter of building
Just,
into that.
and removing egos,
Yeah,
so that
we
we
have a lot
can,
of ego
so
people.
that we can literally actually be able to work together, so
Absolutely.
it's not that struggle. But
Another
yeah.
drip, another drip,
Another drip.
another drip moment.
Gabby had
This
a
is
question.
another drip moment.
Well, I just have a comment. I just really hearing your stories about your marriages, because I'm not married yet. I'm still waiting on the Lord to send me my person. But I love the fact that, like, how, Mother Dixon, you said some things where it's kind of like, oh, like I would never, do that. And the same thing with you, Miss Peggy. It's like y'all didn't. I feel like social media has had a hand in us comparing our relationships
Yes.
to other people's, and that's why some marriages aren't lasting. That's why some of us can't keep relationships, because we look at somebody else's thing and I say, well, I want that.
Yeah.
Like how you said your husband has never said, I love you. But the thing is, that's y'all's relationship. And you know that he loves you instead of you looking at another couple and be like, well, why don't you ever say that to me?
Yeah.
Or why- you know, and I think that comparison is just, it's really messing up relationships. I actually had lunch with a really good girlfriend earlier today. And she was like, you know, with my husband, I've had to learn to extend grace. She's because before he dated me, she said I had to teach him how I wanted to be treated versus me looking at him and it's like, well, he's not opening my door. And you have to, and she was like, he didn't know. She was like, so I had to show him the things that I wanted instead of saying, you know what, he didn't open my door on the first date. That's a no. I'm not going to see him ever again.
Right.
You know, but, you know, working and knowing that your relationship is yours. So I admired that so much.
Yeah.
My parents have been together since they were 14.
Oh, wow.
And they have their own thing too, where they don't have the compare. I think it's because they don't have social media either, but they just in their
That's
bubble,
probably what it is.
and
Yeah,
it
that's
works
probably good.
for them, you know.
Yeah.
So I love that. I
Yeah.
just love
Yeah.
it. It is.
Let's give another round of applause to our hidden figure. Give you
Thank
your
you, Miss
flowers
Peggy.
while you are here.
Thank you, Miss
Miss
Peggy.
Peggy.
Look, my husband has told me he loved me before because he might get on me if he.
But you know what? I would love to have him either on the drip or on the show because, you know, for him to have a unsuccessful wife and for your name to be, I mean, okay, everybody knows, but a pick a table.
Yeah.
But, and to still feel like he's your husband, like you said, you make sure that he knows he's the man of your life. That would be interesting to have him on and get that kind of impartation and wisdom. We really need to look at that coming up. So
Would he
Good
do
luck.
it?
Good
Would he
luck.
do it? Sounds like it. No.
I was putting it out there.
I guess
in
we missed the
atmosphere.
part where she did say he was
Trying to
like
manifest.
Right,
extremely
trying to manifest
quiet.
that. But thank you. Thank you,
We
Peggy.
love
Thank you so much. Amazing. Yeah. Love it. Love
We
it.
better.
You love it.
Oh, thank you, Dion. All right, and so let's go right to our last hidden figure.
Yes.
Yay. So my hidden figure wasn't able to be here today as well, but this person came into my life. It's almost like you, right? I knew her, and this is, I think, very reminiscent to all my relationships. I know people, but I don't ever approach them. And when time is right, it always comes together so divinely. She was a client of Mastermind Productions, which I was a partner in for a while. And I would just see her come in and come out. And I'd hear the things that she would talk about and the projects that she was working on and how dynamic she was. And I didn't realize, though, one day we would be caught together in the studio, and I just spilled my whole life to her.
Wow.
And
Love those moments.
she has just been an amazing tool in my life since then. So I'll read her bio. Her name is LaTanya Dubois. She is a dynamic life experience coach and consultant. Her mission is to transform her clients from overwhelm to overjoy in living their life's purpose and embracing their most fruitful experiences. She helps others nurture their goals so that they can live their life to their fullest potential in life and in business. Additionally, LaTanya is the owner of Eagle Eye Management, a consulting, coaching, and training company that uses holistic and practical approaches to help clients embrace their experience. So I hired her, but she's also my friend. I hired her, though, as I was developing my business because I was just lost, and I was like, I need help. But the beauty with her and the interactions is that we never talked business until we talked self. Until we figured out what are the things that are holding Kenya back.
That's so important.
Because those are the same things that are going to hold you back from being successful in your business.
Absolutely.
So it's been a journey. And
That was
some
good.
days I had to start blocking off my calendar on Fridays, and I didn't do it any other day during the week because she just gets so deep. And then to have her as a friend and someone that I can just be able to talk
But I think
to.
that says a lot about you too, being able to like receive feedback like that
It
too.
wasn't always easy.
Yeah, I was
I
gonna
think,
say
I
because
think it goes back to those
that's really
stereotypes that we
good. Yeah,
can't. I think it goes back to those stereotypes that we can't learn from one another.
right.
And we can't learn from someone that is either the same age that we are
Yeah.
or younger than we are. We there's this stereotype that women don't know how to learn from each other unless they are older in age. And some of the greatest lessons that I have learned just being in the presence of good women and great women of my own age, maybe even younger. I love seeing even some of the young girls like stand for work and balance. Like they're like, and they are really vocal at work to say, no, work and having balance at home that's part of my package before you hire me.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
I have to have that.
That's exactly where I'm at this time around.
Yeah.
As far as, taking the time and finding the right place to be with, job searching right now, this new position that I'm starting, I really was intentional about, it being first about my work-life balance.
Work-life balance is important.
Yes.
I think just seeing some of my daughter was like, that's not part of the package, so I turned it down. I was like, oh, but they're gonna offer you. She's like, that's not part of my work-life balance.
It's not what's
so
important.
seeing, and I've learned that they have this voice that we didn't have, and I know that they have different resources and platforms, but they were really fighting for themselves, and I love to see that.
So shout out to Latanya.
Shout out to Latanya.
Yeah, Tanya,
so
thank you.
Yeah, your flowers.
Yeah.
Yes, we have your flowers. Yes, this has been a lovely show.
This has been a
Let's
great
give
show.
another
I
round
love
of
it.
applause
Thanks
to
everyone
all
for
of our
coming.
hidden figures.
Absolutely, being part.
Yes.
Thanks for the audience to come in and
that was
participate.
fun. Love
It was really great.
Yeah.
So this has been an amazing show. We could not end the show without shouting out the Firm
Yes.
Media Group
Yes.
who put all of this together. They
Yes.
make us look great.
Wizard,
right?
the Wizard of Oz.
The Wizards of Oz. Yeah, I love your earrings.
I was
you.
gonna say, can we just give a little shout out to the love that Dion is throwing around from one ear to the other?
I'm glad y'all noticed. Love.
I
and
love the
your
love from
earrings.
one ear to the other. Yes.
Shout out to our sponsor, Industry Image, who does our branding and graphics. Actually, Industry Image and Walter Jeanette have come together to create the Firm Media Group. And so if you all need a whole bunch of stuff, anything you need around media, videography, photography, maybe even a bit of social media, branding strategy, all of that, and more. I'm sure I missed something. Content, reach out to them. They are an amazing, powerful team. Reels all up in your feed. Everybody's reeling now.
Yeah.
So those things make a difference. How you look makes a difference. And so having the right team to put your things together is going to make a difference. So we want to shout them out. We also want to shout out once again this location, Glitz and Gloss.
What a great location to have
Thank you.
things and trees.
As well
It's
as the
amazing.
West
Thank you.
Room in partnership. The same owner. And so we are excited to be able to be here. It is beautiful. I wish you were here to see it, but reach out to her for any kids' parties. This is a perfect location, especially your little girls to get pampered, and all of that. And then the West Room for the older folks' parties. I'm sure she's in baby showers, just everything.
Even the little girl at heart.
Even
I'm
the
thinking
little
about
girl
doing a
at
little
heart,
party
business
myself.
stuff, all of that. And so shout out to that sponsor. And then also to Shay. So the business is called Lunchbox Bakery. You won't see it, maybe in pictures, but she sponsored some cheesecakes for our after party. Wish you were here. We did invite you.
Ladies.
But cheesecake with like some sort of topping, either strawberry. I think it was strawberry. It looks so good, but I know it's homemade. And so shout out to her reach out to that company, Lunchbox Bakery. They're in the Triangle area. So I believe I covered everyone.
Yes.
I want to highlight some of the women this month, all month long, on my other podcast, the Collaboration Podcast, which we just relaunched the beginning of March. We've been highlighting other women as well. And so Tuesday will be our last show in the Winning Women series. So come right back here to Coffee and Collaborations Media on Tuesday at 6:00 p.m., which will be the next and last Winning Women series with 3 other beautiful ladies. And then I want to shout out, I know she's not asked for any of this, And all of the ladies are beautiful, amazing, and have helped. I want to shout out Dion Selby for sponsoring the flowers. I don't know what company you want me to shout out, but Dion, because this is all a partnership. Everything that we put together.
You're welcome.
It's we work together. And I just want to take a moment to shout out my co-host, Kenya Thompson. Last month, she did our videos, some of the videos that you guys see. She does that for us. So I want to shout out Kenya for that, and even with the lights, and
She
just
makes
who
sure we
she
look
is.
good always.
Yeah, she always wants to make sure we look good. And then lastly, to Kimberly McGee, shout out to her for everything else. I mean, the pillows,
the staging, oh my gosh, the decor,
the food outside,
yeah.
Between the two of us. But Kimberly just goes above and beyond. This
She
whole
does.
crew. Like, we just go above and beyond for each other and to try to produce something that you all will love. And so we hope that you're smiling. We hope that you enjoyed the time with us this evening. Be sure to hug on your own hidden figure. Give people their flowers while they are living. I believe I covered everybody.
Yes, I think you
All right,
did.
you all have a great rest of your evening.
Good night,
We
y'all.
wanna
Nice.
give a
Great
round
rest
of
of your
round of
night.
applause to our
Ladies.
hidden figures.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you for
Good night,
watching.
everybody.
Thank you for
Thank you
watching.
guys for
Thank
being
you for
here.
watching.
month.
See you next month.
April 23rd. Be right back here.
Yay.
Awesome.
That was fantastic.
Are we still? We're good. This has
Hope
been great,
y'all
y'all. What a
enjoyed
great-
yourselves.
What a great show. Hopefully you enjoyed. Yeah, what a great show. This was fun.